Hey folks, it's Barry Nicholson here. Just wanted to do a quick video on how I use a little program called SnagIt to add these cool looking ripped from the headlines graphics into my sales letters. Now, when would we want to do that? You could either do that, sometimes I do it with testimonials. Sometimes I do it with a news article that really adds credibility to the the message I'm trying to get across in the sales letter. So I wanted to show you an example of how I do this, and you'll see it's pretty quick and easy, but it really adds a lot of pop into your sales letters. Now you can use these for graphics that you're going to do on the internet, or for graphics that you can do in a printed sales letter. It really doesn't matter. So just to give you a real life example, I was doing a sales letter recently for a client doing an internet marketing conference, and I really wanted to talk about social media and how much of a phenomenon that Facebook and Twitter are becoming or have been becoming online. And so I was just kind of surfing around, and I came across this great article that said Facebook was growing by 600,000 users a day. And I thought, man, that's such a super headline. I'd like to show just make that really pop out in the sales letter. So what I would do in a case like this is I would probably go ahead and just copy this headline. Now I'm using Firefox. Now I'm going to show you by example in Word. Now you can use Word to do this, or again, really our objective here is not to put this into Word. What we're doing is we're just creating a graphic here, and we're going to do a little snapshot of it using SnagIt. We're going to bring it into SnagIt, we're going to add some effects, and then that will become our graphic. So you could actually do this part using Word. You could use Microsoft Publisher. If you have any other program that you like to do graphics in, it doesn't really matter at this point where you do this. But okay, so then I would come back in here, and I just like these first couple paragraphs. I think are really strong. So I would copy these couple paragraphs and put those right here. Now I wouldn't certainly need to add what's the word, the references of where I got this. This is from Marketing Pilgrim. So I'm going to just say, I'll probably add a line in here that says something like, marketingpilgrim.com, and then find when this was. This was Thursday, December 18th, 2008. I put, probably 12/18/2008, and maybe move this over here to the right. Maybe put that in italics. So maybe move that up a line or so. Okay. Well, no, I kind of liked it better down there. Okay, so, and then one last thing I would probably do to this is, to really grab people's eyeballs would be to grab a Facebook logo, because that's pretty recognizable. So I would go out here online and I'd go to Google and click on images, and pretty much any logo or any picture you want to find of anything you can find on Google Images. And I'd look up a Facebook logo. There's tons of them that come up. Probably click on this one. Click on the full-size image. Yeah, wow, that's nice and big. So I'd right-click on that, copy image, and bring that here into Word. Definitely want to shrink this down. Now, one thing that you need, Word doesn't want to, it wants to put it up over the top of the text. So I would come here and hit Format Picture, click on Layout. I do this tight and then move it to the left if I want it to be on the left side of the page. And then what that does is that sort of just bumps your text. Anytime you move it, it just keeps bumping the text over. So probably do something like that. And again, this is just an example. Not really crazy about that font. I would probably want that to pop a little bit. I'd probably do something like Verdana. And then I might, there's a cool line in here about it. Facebook is now growing at 600,000 users per day. That's about 7 users a second. I really like that line. So I'm going to make that bold, and I'm going to highlight it. Now, but we're going to use SnagIt here. You'll see that what we're going to do is we're going to take a snapshot of what we just created on screen. So I've got SnagIt already open. It doesn't have a big footprint on the screen. It's just pretty small. And it says, first thing we want to do is we want to capture the image. So it says press Control-Shift-P to capture. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit Control-Shift-P, and you'll notice that my mouse is now changed into a little hand icon. And I'm going to give it some margin over here. I don't want to get up real tight. You'll see why here in a second. but I want to give it a little bit of margin, and I just want to go around it and draw my little red box and let go. I let go of my mouse, and now what it did is it did a screen capture of that, and it put that screen capture on my computer's clipboard. I can't see it, but I know it's there. So then I would open SnagIt here, and I want to go to the tools thing here and go into the SnagIt editor. And it'll pull this screen up, and I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste this into my into this editor. Now, it always asks me this about the bitmap that I want to paste is larger than the image. I just click yes. I'm really not sure why it even asked that. Okay, so then you can see. So now what it's done is it's basically taken a picture of what was on my screen. Well, the thing that I like to do is to add a little torn like edge effect to this, and that's what I'm going to put into my sales letter. So with the effects, I'm going to come up here and click on effects and click on an edge effects, and it's the torn edge. And as you can see here, there's a bunch of different effects, and you could certainly play around with these, but the one I use the most is the torn edge. And you'll notice as soon as I hit that, that it's added this torn edge, but it's only done it on 2 sides. Well, I personally like 4 sides. I like my whole thing to look like that. And you'll notice now it just looked like it was just torn out of the middle of a page. You know, and you can kind of mess with it. You can, you know, click on the effect size. See, that's a little too close. It's overriding the text, so I want to move that back where it was. And I would mess around with the outline here and see, well, that gets way too dark. It gets kind of ridiculous quickly. So I'm going to back off of that. Probably make it, you know, it's just need 2 is just about right. And then that you can mess with the shadow as well. You know, so you can mess around with it. So you get it the way that you like it, and then you would just come over here and you want to click File and Save As, because you're going to save this as a graphic document. Now the thing is, when you're it automatically defaults to this .png format. But as you can see, when you click on that, it gives you all these other choices that you can save things as. Now, if I was going to put this on the internet, I would probably choose this .gif or graphics interchange format. But then usually whenever I'm doing, I'm going to just leave it in this PNG or PNG format if I was going to put it in a printed sales letter, which is what I did with this particular client. I'm just going to name this Facebook, and I'm going to put it on my desktop, save that. And now let's go back to our original. So say this is our actual sales letter. You know, we've got all these things. We've got a bunch of text up here, and then we want to come on down. I'm going to center that back up, and I would just look for that graphic that I just created. Go out to my desktop, and there it is. So that way, now it's a graphic that I can move around into my sales letter. So as you can see, it's pretty easy, pretty quick, but I think you'll have a lot of fun with SnagIt. And again, it's an inexpensive program. I don't know, 30, 40 bucks, something like that, but it is certainly money well spent, and it will really add a lot of pop to your sales letters and give you a professional look that maybe you haven't had before. So I hope you enjoy it.